Hello! How are you guys all doing? I actually just finished reading a book called Digital History, a guide to gathering, preserving, and presenting the past on the web. Beyond the irony of this being a printed, unchangeable, physical document discussing something that is constantly changing and shifting, I feel like this book and the authors Cohen and Rosenzweig have a lot of really important and insightful remarks concerning the nature of digital history, archiving, ethics, copyright. Pretty much. It's a guide, so it kind of runs the gamut of how they interact with history on their level and how the internet has shaped history also, because the internet is very much a two-way street, especially today with communities that are constantly shifting in response to ideas on the internet, and it's more of like an internal dialogue. Like Wikipedia has got millions of different contributors all working together, and that also poses problems and advantages in terms of history on the internet and encyclopedias. This book was written in, I think, 2006. I'm just going to double check. 2006. It was just before Wikipedia became super popular, and Rosenzweig actually has a really insightful essay on the use of Wikipedia. But that's for a different discussion. This is solely about doing history online and archiving. Personally, myself as a student that has grown up on the internet, in 2000 how old was I? I was 12. And at that point, that's when I started to get on the internet and do things. So the internet's been part of my life since 2000, so a good 13 years, and it has shaped a lot of how I think and interact with people, and how I view the dissemination of knowledge and the interaction between academics and amateurs. I hate using the word amateur because that implies that you need to have some sort of level of academic background in order to have an insightful conversation concerning a topic, and I feel like that's really problematic because I think that anyone can have a really good discussion concerning anything. Sadly, Rosenzweig has died in 2007, so we can't hear his thoughts on the use of Facebook. And I was discussing this. It's like, how we as historians can we use Facebook concerning ethics and the problems of accessing the online records and what is involved in that. When you're doing an oral history, for example, I just did one for my university, I had to sign a waiver and I had to go over the different options concerning the publication of my name and the quotation of my words and all that sort of stuff, because there's an inherent exchange and vulnerability associated with that, and you want to be able to protect the identity of the people involved. And I think that's a really important discussion that needs to be had, but with so much being put on the internet without thought of who can access it and the importance of making sure that your identity is protected, I think it's an important discussion that needs to be explored further, I think. And obviously that's something that I feel very strongly about as someone who has grown up on the internet. I feel like I want to make sure that my identity is protected, and as a result my Facebook is very much locked down, that only certain posts can be seen by the public, and that friends of friends cannot see my posts, that only friends can. But then I also have public areas like Tumblr, etc., where I'm not as careful concerning what I'm posting and saying and writing, and it's a very public venue. So what are historians given free range, or even not even just historians? Are places like Google, who are creating ads garnered specifically towards me, is it ethical for them to use my information in order to create better ads, or even just be able to create a historical record? Because I feel like there's a lot of information that's being put on the internet that I think will be very useful for the future. It's a discussion I don't think that has been explored in its fullest, and I think that it'll be constantly shifting as the internet responds to different innovations and technologies that are introduced. Facebook has completely revolutionized social networking and social media and how we respond and use the internet. Like, how many people still use MSN Messenger, but at a certain point, that was one of the most popular platforms amongst certain groups of people in terms of discussing ideas and even just having regular everyday chats, But now we're so plugged into the internet. Like, I have an iPhone, I have my MacBook, I'm constantly attached to the internet. I'm constantly attached to Facebook and Twitter and Tumblr and YouTube. I'm making a video for the internet. Is this video as a public object? Is it available for use by historians, by scientists, by researchers, by sociologists? Like, who has the right to use my video? Is it just me, or is the community? Am I, like, I don't know, it's a really hard discussion, and I feel like this discussion is going to be very long. But I think this is a discussion that everyone should have, and I think that we as an online community should be very active in this discussion. I think it's important to be archiving the internet also. I think that's another issue that has been coming up. A lot of the internet from the 1990s and early 2000s has since been lost. It's been really hard to maintain it, and a lot of sites have come down. And in this book, they discuss the problem of archiving the internet and what that means for preserving the recent past. Because books like this, on acid-free paper, as Rosenzweig and Cohen discuss, will last a lot longer than a YouTube video that could be deleted at any point, either by the YouTube community or myself, unless I back it up. Well, if YouTube shuts down, what happens? As Hank Green was discussing, obviously YouTube isn't going to necessarily shut down. I don't see that happening anytime in the future, but it's an important discussion to have. What happens if the internet shuts down? Are we as a society going to function without the internet? I would almost argue that no, we can't function without it, that we have become so reliant on it and its uses that we can't stay away from it. So, yeah, and I think the beautiful thing about the internet today is that I, in northern British Columbia, can talk to a medieval historian in Europe, and we can create and collaborate and make beautiful things on the internet. So, yeah. Anyway, I will be making more videos. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday. I'm going to go maybe read a novel now that I'm done reading this book from my class tomorrow. And I will talk to you guys all soon. Bye.